Come to a Gucci store and ask them what is the main difference between their store and a Walmart. And then go to a Walmart and ask its manager how his store is different from Gucci. Most likely, the answers that you will receive in both places will be more or less the same. The price, quality, prestige. Their opinions and attitudes towards these differences may vary. But in terms of facts, most likely they will agree. If you ask two artists about the differences in their styles, they will likely give you a similar description of their differences. They differ, but they agree on how they differ. Ask representatives of different schools of economics what are the main differences between them, and most likely they will paint the same picture. If political leaders of different countries cannot find consensus on an issue, they both will be able to describe their differences in the same way as they say they will agree to disagree. But if you ask a person who is trying to live according to the laws of the Torah, what is the main difference between you and those who don't call themselves Orthodox Jews? And then you will come with the same question to a person who calls himself secular. You will ask him, what is the main difference between you and those who call themselves Orthodox? Do you think their answers will match? An average secular, quote unquote, person will tell you that the main difference between him and Orthodox Jews is that Orthodox Jews keep Shabbat, keep kosher, wear kippah. However, if you ask a Jew who is trying to live according to the Torah, what is the main difference that sets him apart from non-observant Jews, he will paint a completely different picture. I mean, technically, it is true he does not mix meat and milk and he does not drive a car on Shabbat, but he will tell you that these are only superficial differences. They are correct, but they exist only because of a much deeper reason. From the point of view of an observant Jew, the main thing that sets him apart is his worldview, his values, his life perspective, his ethical norms. And as a result, he will say there are also differences in how he spends his weekends. Keeping mitzvot is an absolutely necessary part of being a Jew, but it is a result of something much deeper. Jewish rituals are a tip of an iceberg, and most of this iceberg is not visible on the surface. Those who are unfamiliar with an iceberg phenomenon believe that under the surface of an ocean there is the same thing everywhere, water. And then they say sometimes there's also a piece of ice floating on top. In the same way, people who received only secular education are trained to think that all people have the same values underneath the surface, and then some have an additional added bonus, which is some sort of a ritual here and ritual there. But those who know about icebergs are well aware that under the surface of an ocean, it's not always the same water. There may be a huge ice mountain, because of which you see a tiny bit of ice floating on top. People have different ethical norms, values, different life principles. Some have values that are fluid and move every minute, like waters. Some have standards that are hard as a block of ice. And if you see a person behaving differently, it is because he has different life principles. The impression that an iceberg exists only above the water is erroneous. The impression that everyone has the same water underneath the surface is not only wrong, but is also dangerous. Many ships have been wrecked because of this misconception. When looking at Judaism, look deeper. Very soon, we are going to be starting a series of lectures called Beyond Right that are going to be describing the differences between the Jewish traditional worldview and modern Western worldview. You will see how people who base their lives on the Torah look at the world different, and we will be able to discover why is it that it leads us to observing Jewish rituals. Please sign up at our website arielcenter.org/JLI.